Then if we move a little bit forward to the knowledge translation, and you have a YouTube channel, could you tell the name of your YouTube channel and how did you begin using YouTube as a platform for knowledge translation?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel is called The Diabetes Resistance, and I started using this almost 2 years ago. So there were a combination of factors that led me to start doing this. I think the first thing was I had just obtained tenure at my university, so that took a lot of pressure off of me because before tenure, it's really easy to get in the mindset of just focus on research. You have to have job security, so do the research. And as soon as I was able to get tenure, that burden was lifted a bit, and I could start thinking about other things that I wanted to do, still related to work. But yeah, it opened up a little space for me to think more about other things. And during COVID, I started, like a lot of people, started doing a lot more home exercise workouts. And there were some that I really, really enjoyed. And one of my coaches at the gym that I train at, he had showed me one channel called Squat University, and it's a physical therapist, Aaron Horschick, I believe is his name. His target audience is other physical therapists and fitness professionals on how to deal with different types of injuries, and he just covers a ton of stuff over weightlifting. And when I was watching it, and at the same time I was trying to think of, I wanted my own kind of side hustle, and watching him, I was like, I could do that. I could do that for diabetes. And in working with my dad, I just started thinking about a lot of the issues with, or barriers, like we were talking about barriers to people exercising. And a big part is they don't know what to do. Most of the time when they go to the doctor's office, the message, at least what I hear a lot in the US, is you need to start exercising. And that's basically all the advice they get. And if you haven't done strength training before, there's a fair amount to it. And so I got this idea of the YouTube channel of having a channel that had all the information that somebody with type 2 diabetes needs to be successful to start strength training. So I do 3 different types of videos. I do the educational ones, and then I do workout videos. They're all strength workout videos for people with diabetes. And then I have instructional videos that show people how to actually do the exercises. So I wanted to make sure that I was covering everything that somebody might need in order to be successful in order to actually do the resistance training that they need to help diabetes. And so I probably took more time than most people do to plan for it, but I am a bit of a planner, and I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything right. Because one of the things that I was thinking was, I'm going to be this is essentially medical information that I'm giving to a population. So there's some risk there. So I wanted to make sure that I was taking all of the appropriate safety precautions to protect the people that I'm trying to serve, but also to protect myself. So one of the things that I did was, and I am a little bit on the vigilant side, I'll admit, but one of the things that I did was I took myself through the ACSM certified personal training course. And I'm really glad that I did that. In my younger days, I did a couple of other personal training certifications, and they were basically just weekend courses that focused mainly on liability, and that was it. But with the ACSM one, I had to study for it for about 3 months because it's a full college university textbook. And when I took that, and ACSM, that's going to be the best if you're wanting to work with people who have chronic conditions in an exercise capacity. ACSM is the one that you want to work with. So the test was really good. I remember there were a lot of applied questions to it. And so I remember after taking that test, just thinking to myself, that was a really good test. So I would recommend the ACSM's certified personal training course for anybody that's wanting to get involved in this type of work. And then I also met with other people that I knew that could help me figure things out. Like one of my friends, he does work with video and audio. So I met with him. He gave me some ideas on just some affordable equipment I could buy. Like this microphone was only like $50. Talked about lighting, talked about audio. I met with my old mentor, Lon Kilgore, because he's done quite a bit with online courses, continuing education courses, stuff like that. So meeting with him was really helpful to learn all the ins and outs. Yeah, I built a website. I got professional liability insurance. I started doing blogs alongside it, but it was just too much. I've got a full-time job in addition to this, so I eventually reached my breaking point on the blogs. I think they're important. This human can only do so much. But it's been
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, no, it's nice. And yeah, I know a little bit. I've tried it also and have the podcast, so I know a little bit those side. And how do you see the advantages of YouTube to communicate your research findings?
So if we're comparing it across other platforms, other social platforms like Instagram and all that, YouTube has the ability to do long form video. So I can do my workout videos for as long as I want. It's a huge platform. Video is not going anywhere. I think video is going to be the way forward. And also YouTube, it's a huge search engine too. I think it's actually the second largest search engine aside from Google. So a lot of people are using it. So if you're comfortable with video or if you have any interest in doing it at all, I would say try it out. And then also, since I'm a professor and I've been trying to incorporate a lot of my research into my classes, I use a lot of my YouTube videos in my classes. So that's been fairly helpful to be able to cross over between those two. So it's nice to have that overlap between what I'm communicating to the students and what I'm communicating to the public. Yeah, so I found it to be quite helpful in trying to communicate research findings to diverse audiences.
Yeah, sounds good. And I checked your channel quickly, and I saw that some of the videos have like over 20,000 views, and then some have like few hundreds. So what are your insights about crafting engaging content? What kind of titles you need? What kind of topics people find in YouTube and are interested enough to click?
Yeah, so the ones with a lot of views, I'm still trying to figure that out too, how to replicate. I think so. I will say, out of those 3 types of videos that I'd mentioned that I make, the educational, exercise instruction, and workout, the educational ones are the ones that tend to have the higher views for the most part. And the one that has the most views, so the first one that really started to take off a bit was about that review article that I did about acute studies. The title was something like How to Improve Diabetes Through One Workout Session. And I thought a lot about this, trying to understand why it was that one that started to take off. And even though it wasn't my intention when I wrote that title, I think it may have fallen in the category of a quick fix. One exercise session will help your diabetes, but it does. And I don't feel like it was a clickbait title. That's one of the things that I have to try to find a balance between, is making sure that I'm crafting a title that will grab people's attention, but making sure that it's also not clickbait. Because I have seen some professionals do that, and I don't really feel comfortable with that. Like, there's a physical therapist channel, not the one that I mentioned earlier. I saw one of their titles, and it was something like lose 10 pounds in 60 seconds. I was like, I bet this is about HIIT training. So I clicked on it, and it was about HIIT training. I was like, I wouldn't use a title like that. So some of the things so during my planning process of when I was getting ready to launch the YouTube channel, I was watching a ton of YouTube videos on how to create engaging content. So one of the channels that I found to be really helpful was Think Media. So when you do start to write a script or craft a video, you do want to make sure that you have a strong hook at the beginning to get people interested. And you want to make sure that you're telling them right away what the video's about, so that they'll know whether or not they want to stick around. And also, one of the things that you want to do in that initial part is establish your credibility. So the one thing that I always say at the very beginning of my videos is, I'm Dr. Elise Brown, and I'm a scientist who studies how exercise helps to prevent diabetes. So I've got 3 main things in that intro, as one sentence to hook them in, a second sentence to make sure that they understand what the video is about, and then third, I'm going to establish my credibility. Now, one of the things that can be fairly time-consuming is that they say that you should whenever you're editing your video, that you should do some kind of change-up every 8 seconds to keep people's attention. And whether that change-up means like shooting from a different angle or bringing in stock videos, stock images, having text pop up something. Every 8 seconds that needs to happen. So that can be fairly time consuming. And the video editing part, I would say this has been the most fun part to me. That's my favorite part of the whole process. I didn't realize until I started getting into YouTube that I didn't have a creative outlet still in. But once I got into video editing, I was like, this is actually really fun and probably healthy because I don't think I do anything outside of work that requires any type of creativity anymore. Yeah, but with the video editing, it can take typically on average for every minute of video that you have to edit, it can take between 30 to 90 minutes to edit that one video. So that's one of the things that people need to be prepared for, but you can make really professional looking videos for free. Go into websites. So using lots of stock videos, stock photos, go into websites like Pexels, Pixabay. All of those videos and photos, they look professional. You can use them for free. You can use them for commercial use. Now, when I'm trying to find images that are related more to science, like anatomy, things like that, those aren't the best websites for that type of content. So I usually do Creative Commons, and I just make sure I check the license to make sure that it's available for commercial use before I use it. Let's see. Audio. So you have to remember that with YouTube, video is half of the equation. So you need to make sure that you've got good lighting, that you're using a decent camera. But for my education videos, I just use my phone. So the iPhone has a great camera on it, but I did notice that when I tried to use my phone to record the workout videos, it was really pixelated trying to pick up all that movement from far away. So I ended up getting a GoPro to do my workout videos. So video's half the equation, audio's the other half, making sure that you've got a decent microphone. They're not that expensive. And then for video editing, I wish I'd known this before. I first started off using Adobe Premiere Pro because that's what I read was what most content creators use. And it was great until a friend of mine who teaches in communications at my university, they told me that DaVinci Resolve by Blackmagic, the free version of it, is very powerful, and DaVinci Resolve is what most of Hollywood uses. So I switched over to DaVinci Resolve and I absolutely love it. I did end up getting the paid version of it, but yeah, even when I had the only reason I did is because I really like it's easier to do captions. I always make sure I put captions in all of my videos for accessibility, and that also helps with SEO. But yeah, you can start with a free version of really powerful video editing software using DaVinci Resolve. So you can get started for pretty low cost.
Yeah, good points. And actually, now there's the Descript, which is AI-based video editing. So basically, it creates a transcript of your video, and then you edit just like a Word document. So you select the sentence and you delete, it will delete the video. So it's super easy, and it automatically deletes like the ums and extra words and so on. So that's even if you don't have any experience, you just edit like a Word document and it will edit the video at the same time. So
what's that called?
That has gone Descript. I can send to you.
Okay, yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I could use I could use that.
Yeah, I will send you the one. So maybe as a last question, what's your advice for other researchers? What's your encouragement for other researchers to use YouTube or similar platforms for disseminating their research findings?
Yeah, I would say if you have any interest at all in starting a YouTube channel, go for it. It's been an awesome experience, and I would also say expect it to take more time than you think. When I first started, or before I started, I was told that to really grow your channel, you have to put out one long-form video a week. And I was thinking, that's no big deal. I'll put out 2 a week. And once I got into it, I was like, oh man, this takes some time. Like the video editing part is what takes some time. Yeah, I would say definitely try it out if you're interested at all. I've been loving it. I've found a lot of meaning in it. So you start to develop this really niche community of whoever you're serving. And my experience was people are finding value in it. I've gotten a lot of thank you comments from people, and I get video ideas from people. For me personally, it's filling in a lot of knowledge gaps that I have, because once I get a topic idea, I have to start learning about that topic. So it's filling in a lot of knowledge gaps that I've had about things that I'm passionate about. And one of my fears or concerns when I first started the channel was, what if people say mean things in the comments? Because people can be quite harsh on the internet when they're behind their computer, but that hasn't been my experience at all so far. Like, most of it has been really overwhelmingly positive, people being very appreciative that I'm doing it. And I think there's a need out there. If you have any interest at all, I would definitely encourage you to do it. But if you are wanting to build that audience, and it's important that you are putting out consistency and quality. Those are going to be the two main things. You have to put out good quality videos that people need and that people are going to use. And then that once a week does seem to be the recipe for success. And I read about it, but I also experienced it. So when I first started it, it was after a few months. Like, it takes so long to get those subscribers. It's not easy. But after a few months of consistently putting out good quality videos every week, the first one that started to take off was that one about single bouts of resistance exercise. And I kept doing it and kept doing it. And after a while, things started to snowball a little bit in terms of subscribers, views, hours watched. But then life happens. My house froze and flooded, and I had to move into a hotel for a bit. So my ability to put out content slowed down to maybe once a month instead of once a week. And it took a couple of months for the YouTube algorithm to pick up on this, apparently. But all of a sudden, everything just stopped. Like, subscribers stopped, views stopped, hours. I was like, oh. So sometimes life happens and you can't put out that 1 week consistency. And then when I had the time to start putting it out again, I got into the rhythm again. And after a few months, that second round, it started snowballing again. I had to decrease frequency because of something else, and it stopped. So it can be a bit discouraging because you put so much time and work into it. And just knowing that sometimes when life gets in the way, it can really hamper what I'm trying to do. But overall, it's been a real positive experience, I would say.
Yeah, sounds good. I would share the opinion. It's nice to do podcast and YouTube videos. And maybe as one thing I have noticed when I watch YouTube, I'm following one channel which is about how to use AI at work. And this guy is putting out like one video per day or something. And he doesn't do any editing. Basically, he comes back from work, he sits on his computer and he click records, and he goes through what he learned today, how to use AI at his work. And then he press stop and it's uploads. And I think nobody cares that he doesn't edit because it's value. You learn every day, and it's what he learned today, he will put it up. So it's really the newest thing. So I think there's so many ways of doing it that I think you can just try whatever way. And I think if you provide value, it's good. But yeah, we have had quite a long recording. I think it's time to wrap up. This was inspirational. It was very nice. It was very interesting, the scientific parts, and very inspirational, your experiences with YouTube. It was a pleasure. Thank you for taking the time, Elise.
Thank you so much for having me.